We're very, very excited to have Regina Spektor here tonight. We've been trying to get her for a while, and it's really wonderful that she'll be here. I think most of you know a lot about her. You probably don't know that she and I are related. We are. I hired a molecular biologist to look into this for months. And unfortunately, we're only related in the sense that we're both kind of New York Jews who used to be in Russia. But I'll take it. And I think on behalf of all Spectors everywhere, Arlen, Phil, me, we're very, very proud to have her. I think most of you know much about her, so I won't talk a lot. She was born in Moscow in 1980. Her mother was a music professor there. Her father is a violinist and a photographer. She was an astounding musical presence from the day she started playing. She was a cult hit. Now she plays at places like the White House. She is writing music for a Broadway version of Sleeping Beauty that I think is going to open next year. She's totally arrived, and we're unbelievably grateful to have her here tonight. So let's welcome her to the New Yorker Festival. You sit there? Okay.
Oh, I have to try and sit like a lady.
Okay, I forgot one important thing, which is we're going to talk for a while, and then instead of questions and answers, we're going to have Regina play, which I think would probably be more favorable to most people here. So, welcome.
Thank you.
She told me backstage that she kind of felt like these things were like having a homicidal maniac follow you around the parking lot. I'm not taking that personally, but I can understand how you feel.
It wasn't personal.
I didn't take it personally. I just thought I would tell hundreds of people. You started playing when you were 5, 6?
Well, I'd say like for real 7.
Oh, for real 7. Don't cheat on that stuff. Piano or?
Yeah, piano.
And classical music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, classical piano with a really nice teacher in Moscow.
And do you miss that teacher? Do you ever see him or her?
No, I've never been back to Russia since, so it's been 21 years, I think.
I didn't actually know that. We'll get back to that.
But I have written letters with her, and she's doing good.
So you played with her until your family left when you were 10-ish? Is that about right?
9.5.
We call that 10-ish in math.
Yeah. The half is very, very important when you're that age. Quarter, half.
True. Were you conscious of being happy to go, or you just were a kid and did what your parents told you?
I think it was mixed. I think that, there's a part of me that was, my cousin who's here, we went together, Marcia, and we kind of had this whole thing where we pictured America kind of like it was like Jungle Book. So everybody had like pet tigers and that they could talk to, and there were exotic birds. That was our vision, and we I don't know why, like somewhere in there, it was a big safari. Everybody had fun and had pet animals, and we'd have these arguments. Well, I'm going to have 3 tigers. No, I'm going to have 4 tigers.
How's that working out for you?
It's not worked out, so I think there was a part that was like very, I don't know, I was just very excited. And
wait, so like a 9-year-old girl living in Moscow is told she's going to move to America, and she says, "Oh my God, the place where they have all the tigers."
No, like animals, not just tigers.
Okay.
All kinds of animals. But no, because we weren't even really properly told, because actually I think that at a later time immigration was less taboo, and in '89 it was still kind of sketchy, so it was a big thing, and so the knowledge that we were leaving and all these things were kind of pieced together by like listening in on adults like talking in the kitchen, and then just like, oh, I found this out, or what did you find out,
You did leave at an unusual time, because it's true. I moved there a few years after you left, and when you left, it was still difficult to leave, but it was also the beginning of perestroika, and there were some really exciting things happening. Did your family ever look back and say, maybe if we'd stayed, it would have worked out?
Never.
No.
No. But you know, I think that it was different than, you know, we had friends and we had relatives that left. You know, there was that wave in 79, 78, 79, and it got closed, and you couldn't leave, and then it got reopened, and then people left in 89 and 90, and they had a very different experience than the people in 79, because the people in 79, a lot of them would, you know, apply for an exit visa, and they would get instantly fired, blacklisted. They would just, you know, and they couldn't, and then they sort of, it was kind of a dangerous position to put your family in, because you had to just wait indefinitely and hope that you got allowed out, and if you didn't, you could not have your job back, and all this stuff happened. And when we were leaving, it was already much more accepted, but it wasn't that accepted. I mean, I still had to tell everybody in second grade that I was moving to my grandma's house, like in somewhere.
Well,
no, upstate Moscow.
Upstate Moscow. I love upstate. When I moved there, I had a great aunt, an old aunt, and when she was told this, she said, "You're going there voluntarily?" We spent 7 generations trying to get out.
Right.
Some truth to that, but it was fun. So, were you a disciplined musician as a kid? I mean,
like
did you like to practice? Did you practice hard? Did you consider it important, or was it just something you did?
I think I had my moments of considering it, of being disciplined, and I think those were much too rare for my parents. Like, you know, they, I definitely was not like a little, like, prodigious, like, kid who just, like, worked really hard, and I sort of, I don't know. I think that I wanted to, like, as soon as I heard something or my teacher gave me a piece, I wanted to instantly play it really well without any work put into it at all. I was sort of, why can't we do that? I mean, it seems so fun and simple and great. What a great way to do it. Like, just, you know, play some big piece and then, you know, and then just have the rest of the night off. but yeah, so I think that my parents are really amazing educators in their own, because they always took it seriously. Like, it wasn't like, you know, piano classes this 3 months and then baseball, those things. I think what happens in America a lot is people don't think of it as another education, but in Russia, many people who, like, they sent their kids for piano lessons. Like, even if the kid wasn't, like, going to become a musician, it was just another education. It's like, well, you don't take 1 year of math. I wish I did.
I know some people like that.
but you know, you just, I didn't mean to shun you guys. I know how to face everybody. I'm going to talk to the car. There's a car in the back.
That's actually why we have the car there.
Okay. So it's going to be my focus point, to the accurate. See what I did there?
Yeah.
But,
awesome.
You're welcome. Whoever you are, I know you're listening. You just put a check next to something and got very happy.
To God or your parents?
And I don't know, the Acura people.
Oh, it's the same. Wait, sorry, Acura people.
But yeah, I think that, no, my teacher took it really serious, and my parents took it really serious. And seriously serious. I'm in the New Yorker Festival.
We're super mega serious.
Okay, good. And I think that, you know, when I would slack, they would eventually they'd be patient and they'd be like, don't you want to practice them right now? Or, why don't you try this? Or, but then, you know, if I didn't, you know, then, you know, eventually my mom would just be like, well, fine, you know, next year you don't have to take piano lessons. Like, no, please. Like,
really? I said that to my daughter and she quit.
No, but I think that was sort of the thing that I think is why, and even though I was a slacker and even though I really didn't want to work hard and had horrible self-discipline, why in the end I wanted to become a musician, is because I just loved it. Like, the idea of not doing it was so horrible and nightmarish, and as soon as it became like a real threat, I would just be like, so I practice.
I don't actually believe you were a slacker. First of all, there are no young Russian Jewish slackers.
Well, I know, but I also, the math gene skipped me, the chess gene skipped me. Like, there's all these things that...
Believe me, it happens to us a lot, more than people think. You have the music gene, but you don't have the chess gene? Wow. That's like having one brown eye and one green eye. So you were playing classical music when you got here, but you had to give up your teacher and your piano, and you showed up in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. And then there probably wasn't an easy way to pick up where you left off.
Yeah, I mean, I think that actually, I know, talking to my parents, they had said that one of the moments that they really, one of the main points when they were figuring out whether they were going to leave Russia or stay, was that they kind of knew that I wasn't going to learn piano anymore, because it was very obvious. I mean, we had no money.
Oh, you mean in America?
Yeah, and it was going to be like, there's not going to be a piano, there's not going to be lessons, there's not going to be, and they actually considered staying in Russia for that, which I think they're
staying in
amazing.
Russia for the piano. Wow.
For the piano, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, they didn't, which shows how much they care. No, I'm just kidding.
Because you really got screwed after that. I mean,
but yeah, but then when we came, it was a trip. I mean, like everybody at that time, it wasn't just immigration wasn't just you get on a plane in Moscow and then you like show up to New York. It was like you go to Vienna first, and then you kind of stay there for a while, and then they let you go. They open the next gate, and you go to Italy, and then some people stayed there. People stayed there from anywhere between like a month, and like some people stayed there for a year. So so we were there for like maybe 2 months, which wasn't that long, and then after that we finally came to New York, and once we got here, we moved to the Bronx because there was a synagogue in Kingsbridge, which is right under Riverdale, which sort of started like this. They opened up this resettlement office type thing, and they wanted to help Russian Jews who were coming, and we were like, I think we were like of the first maybe 6 people that were there.
Really?
There was like another family there, I think, besides us, and then all these people started moving into this one building, and we were all like there. So then the point of that, losing my train of thought.
There's got to be a piano in this story.
Yeah. So then in the synagogue there was a piano in the basement that was really a really bad piano, but was like an amazing piano for me because I didn't have a piano at all. So I was very excited. So then I started practicing there.
On the bad piano?
Yeah.
And how long did you play on the bad piano?
Actually not very long, because then my dad was coming home from a night job that he got, because he was like, he didn't like the whole thing of like being on any kind of support. Like he's like super anti, not giving but getting welfare. So
a non-slacker?
Yeah, he's a non-slacker. He's the opposite of me. And he like got some job, night shift job for like $3.50, and he was coming home from that. And on the subway, he met this man who had a violin case who was older, and they started talking because my dad had studied violin and played it into his 20s, the man lived up in Riverdale and happened to go to our synagogue and said, me and my wife are going to go play a tour of duets, classical duets, and in Spain, and do you want to come to our house for like a lunch and we'll play our program for you? And my dad was like, came home like super excited, like, yes, we're going to get to hear some classical music, because like I think you do have to be like, I mean, you have to be either very well connected with the local conservatories or rich to hear classical music in America, or just listen to classical radio, so long as it continues to exist. Please, that's not to the Acura people, that is to God. Please let classical radio continue. And so we were very excited, and we went there, and then from then on, Sonia, who was the pianist and the wife, taught both me and my cousin Marcia free piano lessons till we were 17.
Really?
Which is insane and amazing and kind and generous.
Great country. No tigers.
Yeah.
So speaking of God, I'm going to do this, and I'll never do it again here or anywhere else, but I'm going to say some of your lyrics because they pertain to God.
Cool.
And it's from the song Laughing With.
Okay.
No one laughs at God at a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one laughs at God when they're starving or freezing or so very poor. No one's laughing at God when a doctor calls after some routine tests, when it's gotten late and the kids are not back from the party yet. Are you a religious person?
I think so. I mean, I think that, like, I don't know, I think it's kind of hard to say, like, the exact thing because it means so much to different people. So, like, you know, if you say, like, religious person, I could, like, picture somebody who's like, and you shall be damned. Like, and,
I'm
like,
not saying
you know,
a follower
like,
of the...
you know, like, so I think it's just, like, you know, it's like I'm a picky eater when it comes to religion. I'm like, oh, awesome, I'll have, like, a plate of that and none of that, thank you. But, like, you know, but I think that as far as, like, I think that I always had that feeling of, like, I don't know, just the feeling of whatever it is we humans do, like, there's got to be something bigger, you know, like that kind of a feeling, and it's never left me, you know, even through all kinds of questions with it. And kind of, and being that, you know, I'm a Jew and a Specter at that.
Many of us are.
Do you know that they say that it probably comes from the word inspector?
I heard something much worse, but...
Okay. Let's ask you afterwards.
Yeah.
Let's ask you that, yeah. But, you know, I think that especially when you come out of I think everything is basically like context. Everything is context. And so to somebody who's like, who is from a country where all religion was illegal and traditions were squashed and practices weren't allowed, and then you come to a place where, you know, you watch your parents get so excited and they're like, you know, moments where, like, my dad was like, oh my God, I think that time when my grandfather took me and my brother to those woods, he did like a secret bar mitzvah on us, you know, like stuff like that, like, because it's just like, you know, it's like you don't know, or like, you know, and it happens a lot where, like, people just, you know, it's like, oh wait, you know, we always had matzah somehow for Passover. Like, my grandmother always procured it somehow, and she always knew what day it was supposed to be on somehow. And, you know, because she knew somebody who kept the Jewish calendar and with the lunar calendar, but we also had, like, tons of bread with the matzah. And then you get here and you're like, oh wait, that's not supposed to happen. You know, like stuff like that, you know, you're like, we got it half right, you know, but it is exciting, you know, when you get reconnected to your cultural traditions, and I think that, you know, even though I sort of, on different days, I range in I love religion, I hate religion, you know, I love atheists, I don't feel like an atheist, you know, just all this stuff, you know, I think that, yeah, the correct answer would be yes, I'm a religious person.
Thank you. I knew we'd get there.
Yes. I didn't.
Okay. What moved you? You are not a classical musician anymore. You're a doyen of Brooklyn. You're an independent superstar. You're something else. Was that a desire? Did it just happen?
Well, at a certain point, it became a desire to write songs, and but I never had the desire to not be a classical musician. It just sort of was like, it just naturally happened, like the way that, like, you know, if the person wants to be like in the Guinness Book of World Records for being like the tallest person in the world, but they stop growing at like 5'3". It just, at a certain point,
so
that dream goes away.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and then they get other dreams, and maybe they notice something else about themselves that they didn't notice because they were like really busy wanting to be in the Guinness Book of Records for the being tallest person in the world. But that's sort of what happened, basically. That's clear, right?
Yeah.
It felt very, very, very clear.
Thanks for sharing. So I heard this thing, I don't know if it's true, but it involves wandering in the Israeli desert, which there's a lot of stories over the last few thousand
Jesus
years.
did that.
Everyone's been doing it. But apparently that's how you started writing songs?
Yeah.
By wandering in the desert?
Yeah, well, I mean...
Do you wish to explain?
No, let's just let that one lie. I was always kind of like singing and humming and doing stuff like, and both my parents actually made horrible fun of me all the time because I'd get really into it and get really loud, and they'd be like, "Shut up, you're annoying," but nicer, you know, parental, not mean like that. And so I was just like, okay, I'm not really peeling off all my fingers because I'm nervous. Cool. I was like, okay, you know, I'm not a singer, but I like to sing in the shower, so I'm going to continue to do that. Like, all of us have that right. If we have a shower, we can sing. So... Yes.
That's actually in the Constitution.
Yes. But then I went on this amazing trip through this program called Nesia, which is out of Ohio, and I got a scholarship to go there, and it was basically like a, I don't know, creative, like teenagers trip to Israel for 5 weeks, and you got to really, it's basically, I don't know, it's a transformative, like, amazing, growing experience, because first of all, I met kids and I was like, okay, I'm not insane. Like, I'm not an insane person in my high school. Like, there's other people that think like me, and it's cool. Like, it's, you know, because I think that for a lot of, you know, to be all like cliche, but for a lot of like creative kids in high school, it's like kind of hard because you can't really figure out how to express it, and there's only so many times you can hear somebody be like, somebody forgot to take their medication, you know. It's like, you're like, okay, I get it, but like, you're dumb, you know. And I'm not having any fun talking to you, like, so like, what have you been smoking, you know. It's like, okay.
This all happened at the yeshiva?
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you shocked?
A little bit, yeah.
No, I think that it happens in a lot of in just a lot of places where there's, you know, kids. I mean, kids aren't like, there's not like there are some schools that are like for, you know, like creative kids, or some sort of like, you really care about music and we're gonna put you all in this place and, you know, teach you stuff. But when I went to try out for one, my parents didn't let me go because everybody had piercings and tattoos. So then I ended up going to yeshiva instead, where I got an incredible education. That's the thing. Like,
I thought you were going to say you got an incredible tattoo.
No, the education there it was amazing, and I loved like a lot of the rabbis that because it was a double curriculum, and a lot of the rabbis were like these amazing. It's funny too because it's like in yeshiva, at least my experience of it, the really older rabbis who are like 90 and have the big white beard, they're just like really into all your questions, and there's nothing that you'll say that they won't come back the next day and they've researched it and they'll be like, well, actually, Rivka, that question you asked, in like, this one rabbi in 1500s said the same thing, and I was like, cool, And then it's like the younger guys who are like, don't ask that, What kind of a question is that? Heretic, But so anyway, I went to Israel on this trip, and it was amazing, and all these kids were amazing. They were from all over America, and some of them were from Israel, and we had to hike in the Negev, and I was really, now I'm like sportier than I've ever been, and it's just because I go on tour and I run on the treadmill and watch like CSI. But or Law and Order. Law and Order will let you run for an hour on the treadmill very easily. But
I'd be happy to hear it.
But in high school I was extra non-sporty. And so here we are like in Israel in like July in the desert, like hiking for like, I was in hell. And I think I would start humming and doing stuff, and then there were some kids that were like, you have a really good voice. I'd be like, no, I don't. My parents told me I suck. And then I started kind of singing more and more songs there, and everybody was very encouraging. And by the end of the trip, they were like, when you go back to New York, you should try and learn an instrument. And I was like, oh.
You were already there on that one.
Yeah, so then I started writing songs, and they were really shitty songs, very bad, like horrendous, like diary entry, like Oompa Loompa, like fucking bad songs.
I don't believe you.
It was horrendous. No, I there are some tapes that I can.
Where would you find those?
They make me want to like never play again. I just had to be like, but I got past that, right? It's not like that anymore, right?
Now, I promised you I wouldn't talk about your creative process, but I'm a journalist/liar.
You promised me.
I'm not going to ask you, but I'm going to ask you kind of around it.
Okay.
You're a big reader. Do you sit down and say, today I'm going to write a song, or?
I wish I could.
That's not a creative question. It's a technical question.
It's a technical question. Okay. No, I think that I get like in moods where I'm just like, I really, really, really want to write a song already. And I think it changes. Like sometimes I'll write a lot right away, and sometimes it'll be a long time, and then I won't write for a long time. And I remember like the first time I didn't write for a really long time when I entered college, and I was like, awesome, like I went to the conservatory and now I'm broken. Like I am never going to write another song again. And then I started writing songs, and I thought they were better than the ones I had written before. So now after like years of like torturing myself and being like, oh no, I'm broken. Oh, I'm fixed. I wrote a song. Oh no, I'm broken again. So now I've just like been like, okay, that's how it happens. And I sort of promised myself that if I ever like didn't write songs anymore because they just like didn't happen to me, then I'd just do something else that was like happening. Like I don't ever want to like, I've never had to like write a song, and I never will.
So you see songs as happening to you?
Yeah, they feel like it's not like you're just like, oh, and like you're like some like, thank you universe for this word, like it's not precious, you know, it's not like holier than thou crap, but it definitely feels like, at least a part of it feels like it's happening, and then you just start interacting with it, and then you feel that great, it's an amazing feeling because, you know, it's like, I don't know, I mean, for someone non-sporty, I'm going to say a thing that I picture it like, that's a very sporty thing that I could never do in my life. But it's probably like the way surfers are, you know? Because it's like, I see, like, especially those big wave surfers, like you see them and it's like, they're so like, the ocean is happening and the wave is happening, it would be happening anyway, but they happen to be in that wave, and what they're doing is affecting, like the way they are with it is affecting them and affecting the wave, and that moment only happens because they're there together. So I think that's kind of how songs are.
See, that wasn't actually that painful. Well, you seem to be evolving in a variety of ways. You're writing a musical?
Yeah.
How's that? I mean, that's something very different than you've ever done, right?
Yeah, it is very different. It's also very different because it's, I'm writing songs, but I'm writing to somebody else's lyrics. Michael Corey is the lyricist. There's Tina Landau, she's written like the story and the dialogue, and it's her like concept, and then Michael Corey is writing all the lyrics, and I'm writing the music, so I'm just
How is that
a composer.
Collaborative work, isn't your thing?
I was terrified of it because I'm like a control freak, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna hurt these people, you know. But actually it's like amazing, and I think because it is so collaborative, like everybody listens to everybody else, and everybody participates, and it's like, because we all love the story so much, and it's really amazing. I mean, it's loosely based on Sleeping Beauty. But wow, I really am shunning you. I don't mean to. I don't know how to do this. It's loosely based on Sleeping Beauty, but it's completely insane, and it's not Sleeping Beauty. But everybody's sort of, we sit together and we talk about, well, how do they feel, or what might it sound like, or I don't know. I think that might not be the right way, you know. And so, and everybody is, and then these like little things of like happen where it's like they'll say this one sentence and I'll be like, oh, I know exactly, I could hear it now. I couldn't hear it, and now I know exactly what it's supposed to sound like, and then I'll write it, and then I'll play it, and I'll be like, yes, I didn't hear it like that at all, but actually this is now how I hear it. Or you know, some other thing where, you know, I'll say a word, or I'll be like, I actually was picturing him more like this, and Michael will be like, oh, okay, I got it, I'm going to write these lyrics, and then they're like exactly what I was like picturing. Yeah, so it's very fun.
How far along are you?
We're almost done with like the writing process of it. It's been a while, like on and off, because also we all like do a billion other things.
Really? Speaking of which, you're going on tour tomorrow to South America, right? You're traveling with strings, and it's a lusher sound than you sometimes have. Is that easy to go back and forth, and you're just going to be?
No, I think I'm actually like very curious as to what I'm going to play and how it'll go, and if I will remember anything. I hope for your sakes I will, and if I don't, then I don't know.
We'll forgive you.
I know what to do. I'll try and tap dance. No.
If you don't remember anything, we're going to talk some more.
Okay. Oh God.
How's that for a
That's
threat?
motivation. Yeah, it's really hard actually in some ways to go into like from like maybe recording or writing or doing the musical and then practicing old songs. I think that whenever I start doing new things, they like push out all the old things, and then it's like somebody dragged the folder into trash, and then I have to like come back, and it's like, could you play these 10 songs that you've played like a million times? And I'll be like, I don't know, because somebody threw it out, you know.
Does it bother you when people want you to play Hotel Song or the things that most of the people in this room probably know and love from early days? Do you feel like Bob Dylan did when he tried to plug in and got screamed at in Newport?
Well, no, I think that, I mean, I haven't experienced like everybody turning on me and hating everything new that I've done, which is what happened to him, which I think is a horrible feeling. And I think it's actually, I think on the part of even being a fan, I can't relate to it because I'm a fan of a lot of things, but I can't imagine not having enough respect for somebody that whose art I like, and enough respect to be like, well, I don't get it, but I wouldn't actually like picket it, or like, just, boycott it or stand on the soapbox and yell about it. Like, it's just so wrong. We expected the same thing again, and you're disappointed. Musicians aren't politicians, and we don't make any promises and then have to like follow our campaign.
Because politicians are excellent at that.
Right. It's true.
What do you like to listen to when you're just listening?
All kinds of things. I don't know, everything that's good. I hate bad stuff.
Okay.
Music, no, it's non-genre specific, and it's it's like, it's just, you just know it, I think to me it's like I know it, that it's awesome when I hear it. It just feels right, and it engages your mind and your heart in a certain way, and you're just like, this is awesome, and you don't really think like, oh, is this falling? And the same thing happens with bad music, and I suffer tremendously in this world, actually. If you really want to know, I walk out of stores even though I'm starving and there's the thing I need right there because I just cannot deal with like what's going on over the loudspeakers.
Wow.
And I will punish myself. I punish myself by not eating because some bad music is playing in a place.
You're not like a New York Jew or anything. Do you have the dark view that comes with your background?
What do you mean?
The world's going to collapse pretty soon.
Like a pogrom kind of vibe?
Yeah, the pogrom view.
I'm totally pogroming it. Like, I'm like, I'm ready to like take my satchel and like run off to like Hoboken, Is that
your safe place?
No, I don't know. It's like the close place I could picture. Like, okay, there's a way to get there. I don't know.
I want to ask you. You brought it up. I didn't realize this, but is there a particular reason you never went back to Russia? And you surely could have gone and played or visited people. Is that a conscious decision?
It's not. It's not so much, now it's becoming, I think, more conscious just because it's kind of weird, I guess, now, and I've been asked about it a lot, and I sort of never thought about it. But when I left, there was this feeling, because at the time when we left, like, my grandparents and my uncle immigrated a year and a half later, and but when we were leaving, there was sort of this thing of like, you might never see your grandparents again. Everybody was crying. There's like this permanent goodbye. And so in my mind, even though it's not actually geographically correct, Russia is like the furthest place on the planet from here. And I've been to like, it's actually blown my mind because I remember like being in airports and like, whatever, somewhere like Stockholm or, and it's like, and then you see Moscow and you see like, hour-and-a-half flight. And I'm just like, really? But how is that possible? Like, isn't it light years, though? Like, 1.5 light years? No. But so I think that sort of is going on there. And then there's, and then I think there's just this feeling of like, I have all these memories, and like, I was, 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 3 and 2 and 1 there. And
nicely put.
That felt comforting. I don't know why. I needed to count. But it was now, and I feel like now it's like so different. And even though, and I feel like it's sort of like, if I knew for sure, like if somebody could guarantee it and like sign a contract and like that they would uphold, that all my old memories would not be in any way, you know, one of those like small print, like your memories will not in any shape or form be like changed, you know, morphed, you know, affected by the new things you will see. They will not be deleted. They will, you know,
Like a standard contract?
Yeah, like a contract. Then maybe it would be easier, but because there is no contract and there is no guarantee and nobody can like do that, then I'm just sort of like, at all times I'm like weighing like, well, do I kind of go back and kind of take that chance and see like the McDonald's in Red Square and all that, like all the billboards and all the stuff that's, because I think that, you know, even though for all its an understatement of the century, uncoolness of the Soviet Union, like it had its incredible things, which were like, there were this kind of moments of community that don't happen in a capitalist society, and there was a kind of I don't know, like just like a kind of and maybe it's because I'm a kid and so naive, and it wasn't that at all. I mean, people standing on lines to like for 4 hours to bring some food back to their kids is not like a kind of charming innocence. Like it's like really fucked up, but there was something where like,
no, you're totally right.
People had like the clothes that everybody wore, like my baby pictures. You don't like, they look like I could have been born in like 1920. You know, like there's just, people had like homemade clothes and like things didn't have logos or labels, and like and people had like 4 outfits, and like it was something comforting about, oh yeah, my mom's wearing that sweater, that other sweater that I like, that is like one of her 3 sweaters, and you know, and they're in every photograph, and I like that. I don't like this thing of like closets full of bullshit and everybody trying to like keep up. And
so like the Dior store in Red Square would bother you?
I think so, because I think it's just, and also, you know, it's happening there, it's happening here, is the complete death of the middle class. It's going away, but there it happened in an extreme way, where, you know, it went from like kind of everybody being in the same boat except the people that were like somehow connected, you know, yeah, you know, and then, you know, but mainly everybody was in the same boat, and into like now it's like, you know, McMansions and like World War II veterans like asking for change on the, you know, people that were like,
it's just like America. It was made in Iran. No, I think you're right in many ways.
Well, no,
there was a warmth,
yeah,
but there was also some remarkable oppression. And,
yeah, of course. But now it's like all the things that, like, at least, you know, I have to say that even I, who was a slacker, who has got skipped with the math gene, when I came to America from my, you know, Moscow public school, I was like, ever so briefly, ahead of all the kids in my class in math, like somehow. You know, then it, like, of course, you know, it was like, felt like
nature
10 years behind. But I think that people were kind of getting this education, and it was kind of countrywide. Like, you didn't have to be of a certain, I don't know, financial, yeah, to get a good education, all stuff. And here you do. And same thing was with medicine. Well, it was just sucked, but everybody could get it. And now,
yeah, it did suck, and everyone could get it. Here, nobody can get it. It doesn't suck. So.
Right.
But listen, before the next pogrom with us, I think we should let you do what you do best, which is play music.
Okay.
And thank you for this very much.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay. I wish I could take this thing off. I have like this pack on me. Don't you just just want to have a drink instead. I mean, I really have to play. I'm like totally ready to chill out. See, slacker. Take pictures just because it messes with my my brain parts. Sorry. I know, it's like singling you out. I don't mean to. And I like pictures anyway. Cameras are nice. I can actually tell you what they'll all look like this. That's pretty much what all of them look like. And I hate that. Too. I don't like that, but that's what they look like. He stumbled into faith and thought, God, this is all there is. The pictures in his mind arose and began to breathe. And all the worlds began colliding on a backdrop of blue. Blue
took a step, but then felt tired. He said, I'll rest a little while. But when he tried to walk again, he wasn't a child. And all the people hurried past real fast, and no one ever smiled. Blue lips, blue veins, blue, the color of our planet from far, far away. Blue lips, blue veins, blue, the color of our planet from far, far away. He stumbled into faith and thought, God, this is all there is. The pictures in his mind arose and began to breathe. And no one saw, no one heard. They just followed lead. The pictures in his mind awoke and began to breathe. They started off beneath an olive tree, and they tracked it down to make up picket fences, and marching along the railroad tracks. They smiled real wide for the camera lenses. They made it past the enemy lines just to become enslaved in the assembly lines. Blue lips, blue veins, blue, the color of our planet from far, far away. Blue lips, blue veins, blue, the color of our planet from far, far away. Blue, the most human color. Blue, the most human color. Blue, the most human color. Blue lips, blue veins, blue, the color of our planet from far, far away. This is how it works. It feels a little worse than when we drove our hearse right through that screaming crowd, while laughing up a storm until we were just bone, until it got so warm that none of us could sleep, and all the styrofoam began to melt away. We tried to find some worms to aid in the decay, but none of them were home inside their catacomb. A million ancient bees began to sting our knees while we were on our knees, praying that disease would leave the ones we loved and never come again. And on the radio we heard November Rain. That solo's real long, but it's a pretty song. We listened to it twice, 'cause the DJ was asleep. Until you're not, you love until you don't, you try until you can't, you laugh until you cry until you laugh, and everyone must breathe until a dying breath. No, this is how it works. You peer inside yourself, you take the things you like, then try to love the things you took, and then you take that love you made and stick it into someone else's heart, pumping someone else's blood and walking arm in arm. you hope it don't get hard, but even if it does, you'll just do it all again. And on the radio, you'll hear November Rain. That solo's awful long, but it's a good refrain. You listen to it twice, cause the DJ is asleep. On the radio, on the radio, on the radio, oh, on the radio, oh, on the radio, oh, on the radio, oh, oh, oh,
Весною черною горит февраль, достать чернила, плакать, писать о феврале навзрыд, пока грохочущая слякоть весною черною.
All the Holocaust deniers to a bathhouse warm and quiet. Complimentary soap, complimentary haircut, and gas them up until they know that all ink stains on her wrist mean business, and God as the almighty witness. I wish they'd cure the friendly neighbors from the disease which makes them haters. You who accuse the dying of lying can't tell fake from honest crying. Argentina steakhouse, Swiss bank gold card ain't gonna help you where you're going at. So who be the Jew to make the papers? Drenched in blood up to your blue Jew eyeballs. And God in his almighty wisdom may somehow grant an open season on the Holocaust deniers in a bathhouse warm and quiet. Complimentary soap, complimentary haircut, gas them up until they know that all the ink stains on her wrist mean business, and God is the almighty witness. I wish they'd cure the friendly neighbors of the disease which makes them haters. Carl Projectorinsky to the front of the cathedral. You have won, dear sir. May I congratulate you first? Oh, what an honor. Human of the year, and you've won. Human of the year, and you've won. Why are you so scared? You stand there shaking in your pew. The icons are whispering to you, they're just old men, like on the benches in the park, except their balding spots are glistening with gold. Human of the year, and you go on. Human of the year, and you hallelujah.
unspoken, wishing well to all us sinners. And with the sigh grew silent till next year's big human winner. Outside the doors are beating out a song just for your honor. And though they do not know it, all mankind are now your brothers. All mankind are now your brothers. Hallelujah. 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 Hello, hello, calling a Carl projector in ski to the front of the cathedral. You have won. Thank you. Life inside the music box ain't easy. The mallets hit the gears are always turning, and everyone inside the mechanism is yearning to get out and sing another melody completely so different from the one they're always singing. I close my eyes and think that I have found me, but then I feel mortality surround me. I want to sing another melody so different from the one I always sing, but when I do the dishes, I run the water very, very, very hot, and then I fill a sink to the top with bubbles of soap, and then I set all the bottle caps on the float, and it's the greatest voyage in the history of plastic. And then I slip my hands in and start to make waves, and then I dip my tongue in and take a taste. It tastes like soap, but it doesn't really taste like soap. And then I lower in my whole mouth and take a gulp and start to feel mortality surround me. I close my eyes and think that I have found me, but life inside a music box ain't easy. The mallet hit the gears are always turning, and everyone inside the mechanism is yearning to get out and sing another melody completely. Is yearning to get out, is yearning to get out, is yearning to get out. Man of 1,000 faces sits down at the table, eats a small lump of sugar, and smiles at the moon like he knows her, and begins his quiet ascension without anyone's sturdy instruction to a place that no religion has found a path to her likeness. His words are quiet like stains on
that are trying to cover for each other, or at least blend in with the pattern. Good is better than perfect. Scrub till your fingers are bleeding. And I'm crying for things that I tell others to do without crying. He used to go to his favorite bookstores and rip out his favorite pages and stuff them into his breast pockets. And the moon to him was a stranger. Now he sits down at the table right next to the window and begins his quiet ascension without anyone's steady instruction to a place and no religion has found the path to our likeness. And he eats a small lump of sugar and smiles at the moon like he knows her. Thank you all so much.
The amazing Regina Spektor. Thank you all for coming.